Not.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another wonderful day of LCS Challengers presented by Toro, and also welcome to our new sponsor, Subway. Exciting things happening since I've been gone, and I come back and we got Breezy on the desk with us too. Breezy, it is so awesome to have you here today. How are you doing?
Thank you, good. I'm excited to be here. Watch some exciting games.
We don't really get to see you play some exciting games, but hopefully while you're here with us, we can see some exciting games on the day. And of course we have Kangas and Cubby as well. The old news, as I would like to put you to, but you know, it's nice to be here. It's nice to be here with you two again.
I mean, the Breezy's the exciting one though. Cubby and I were just saying before going live, like our job's so much easier today. You know, we just get to ask the player everything going on and get his insight.
My job's gone.
Yeah, I'm Cubby 2.0 today.
Yes, let's go. Keep that energy, Breezy.
Yo, I already like having Breezy here so much more than you, Cubby. Sorry, bud. You're
that was not my goal of coming here.
Breezy, this is your tryout, by the way. You know, Cubby's spot has been open for a while. He's really been struggling this split, so if you step up, you know.
No, we can't come on here and roast you guys a little bit too much. So, no, it's great to be back, and welcome back everyone who is watching. Things have been super, super exciting in this world. I know it took me a little bit to catch up, and for anyone who's wondering what's been going on in this world of LCS Challengers, I mean, we do have Cubby here to catch you up as well in our next episode of NA Talent Update. Check it out.
Hello and welcome to the NA Talent Update. First off, a reminder that you can grab tickets for the NACL Finals, which will be live at the Riot Games Arena on August 9th. So make sure to grab one for you and maybe that special someone. By the end of this week, we will be down to 2 teams in Challengers League, and they will be competing live in the Riot Games Arena. Now, to commemorate that, we've compiled some of our team's greatest hits so far.
Now that's what I call LCS Challenger. 6 of the greatest names to hit playoffs this summer, including smash hits like Take This Team Down the Lower Road, King will God till he can no more. Unforgettable summer bangers like Team Liquid Challengers.
Coming in first place. I seen it was a waste. Lower bracket run. Ooh, ooh. Team Liquid get it done. Ooh, ooh.
And don't forget,
TST, you're the king of me. Have you heard of Stunted Battle Patreon?
the hottest season of NACL ever. Don't miss it. Order now and get That's What I Call LCS today.
All of our playoffs are being played on patch 13.14, and early on in the patch, we have noticed a few picks that are stronger than others, including one tree that you certainly don't want to hug.
And remember, kids, only you can prevent forest fires. Wait, Maokai, what are you doing here? Ah! Oh my god, Maokai is 100% win rate in playoffs with 10 bans and 5 picks. He's on a rampage. Somebody stop him! Never mind what I said before. Get some fire, grab your axes. We gotta chop down some trees. Ah!
The pressure is on for the lower bracket teams, so to check in with them, we have on-site correspondent Mazel to see how high the stakes actually are. Mazel, can you read me?
Well, Cubby, I can tell you the stakes are higher than ever.
Can you give me an estimate of how high the stakes are right now?
Well, lower bracket teams only have 1 life left, so yay high?
Any indication for how high the stakes might get?
Well, there's no end in sight.
Well, keep me posted. Until then, guys, that's been it for this episode of the NA Talent Update. Thanks to all my friends who helped out. And until next week, may your week be filled with positive gaming experiences.
Well, apparently I missed a lot. Kangas, since when have you been able to hit notes like that?
Hey, I'm telling you, if you put my voice and Eric's sound computer thingy, he can make a lot of magic happen. So props to Deserix for throwing together the music for that one. Also, the stakes are higher than ever. I don't know, Cubby, you didn't even react to that, but Mazel was on the moon. That was crazy.
I hope Mazzel's still with us. I mean, between that trip and LPL playoffs, I feel like I hope he joins us again. That's
He had a
all we're gonna
fishbowl.
say.
I think he could breathe. I think he was good.
Okay.
Hopefully. Hopefully he's good, King, because I think you're the one who put him there. So if anything goes wrong there, you're the one to be blaming on this. But hey, I think you're also the one to be blaming here for our play of the split and how that's been going down, especially too. We've been ramping up for this all split long.
Now this one I will take, as this is something I've been working on hard for the entire split. Happy with how the community has come behind it and getting kind of really into the voting process. And this is what has been building up to, everybody. Play of the split. We're going to have a whole bracket throughout this weekend leading into the finals where we will have the final play of the split vote at live Riot Games Arena. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to actually kind of like see this culminate into the final event because it's been an entire split long thing.
And we do have, of course, some voting today as we get to figure out who's going to be advancing on into that next stage of the bracket. So we will take you through a quick little reminder of these plays, starting out with the Young Hero.
Watch.
Oh, Young was able to get out with a sliver of HP, and that's going to be valuable because he's actually TPing back in. This should be sussed out by EG, but Young could have a huge effort divide here.
Oh, man,
okay.
and
Well,
Tomio just got
Young.
eviscerated. Young, though, the hero for DSG. Double kill. Can he get the triple inside the pit? He does. He gets 3.
Well, I know that the play of split is always something that's always nice for the players. And Breezy, I know you're nominated for one too. I think that play that we just saw was the one that yours lost to, unfortunately.
Yeah, honestly, it was a deserved loss. It was a really well played play, and there's a lot of stakes on the line there. He saved the whole game. They would have lost. Who knows if they would even be here today if it wasn't for that.
A humble loss there. I have to applaud you on that one. Next up, next play that you guys can vote for. Well, this one is Tricky Tomio.
Bold of Rose Thorn. I get he wants to play around ONAP, but now look at Tomio. The flash with the ult there. The double knock-a-pop Blossom. There's no way to out-heal that one, NXI, as you flash away and watch Spawn die.
How are we feeling on the scale of the trickiness of that one, guys? On a scale of 1 to 5, Tomio's tricks.
I feel like he's going to pull his greatest trick upcoming next, which is disappearing from the bracket. I have a certain favorite moving forward here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I think that the young one is much more impressive, and also the seeding was random. So if anybody's upset that those two went against each other, it was a luck of the draw of the hat. So yeah, I mean it's a cool play still, but I think one of them is more impressive. But let's see what the fans have to say because it's their vote. It's not ours. They can vote right now in Twitch chat.
We can, well, y'all can be as biased as you want here, but of course it is going to be up to those in the Twitch chat to be voting. So make sure to vote now in the Twitch chat for your favorite play of the split, which one is going to be moving on in our bracket. Because of course, want to get that opportunity to vote for your favorite play. At the very end, you want to cheer for your players. You want to cheer onto that play. While we're waiting for the voting to go in, of course, the stakes, I mean, they're on the moon. I don't even know if stakes can cook up in space, but they're high, and we're getting so close to the end of everything. So here is a little trailer of our season finale.
Since the beginning of Summer Split,
Welcome everyone to week 1 of the Summer Split.
107 games have been played, 50 competitors, 10 teams. But after this weekend, only 2 remain.
I want to get your quick thoughts on UG.
I don't really think anything of him, and he has an LCS support, so we're gonna win.
I think he's not that good, to be honest. Yeah.
And this time, you can be a part of the action too, because the NACL finale will air live from the Riot Games Arena. Mark your calendars and purchase your tickets to be a part of the live studio audience. Not convinced? Let's hear what the community thought of the premiere.
Duffy, you just saw the finals. What would your review be?
That was incredible.
Do you recommend folks at home buy a ticket?
Yes, I recommend they buy 2.
Do you recommend the show?
100%, 1,000%. Actually, I rate this higher than Oppenheimer and Barbie combined.
Maybe Toy Story 3 above it?
Toy Story 3 was really good.
Close to Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
Do you recommend people at home come see it?
You need to go see it right now. Right now. Get your tickets. Get your tickets. Go, 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 go.
But no spoilers. Don't miss out on the cinematic event of summer. We'll see you there.
First off, welcome in our friends from the LECs. We're getting started with our LCS Challengers broadcast as we have elimination going on in the playoffs. Exciting time to join in on the action, especially too, Breezy. That season finale trailer, everything they're playing up for. Are you sold? I'm kind of sold.
I'm sold. I'm super sold. Hypes me up.
Yeah, you gonna get a ticket? Only $10. Yeah,
yeah, I'm going.
Close to Toy Story 3. That's high praise.
You know, now that we have the LEC rated, I can say if you get a ticket, then you are confirmed to have lots of Zaza. I feel like if you get that reference, then you should be an LEC fan, right? You got to appeal to the masses here.
That might be a little bit of a long journey, though, for people that might be more so the LEC fans.
That would be the most LEC fan thing, though. Buy out the tickets so that no one's there.
A lot of Zaza.
No, we want people to be there to be supporting on our players. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Fly out. It's going to be worth. It is going to be absolutely amazing. But if we're going back to amazing, I believe the voting is in for who is going to be moving on in our play of the split. Angus, can we get a little drum roll?
I got little kitchen knives. Can you hear that? I don't know. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. What is it?
Perfect.
Hey, there it is.
Yeah, let's go. This is gonna be the young one, the one that Breezy, you were saying was it was deserved here.
It was deserved.
Nice.
I think so. Cup and I were talking about this. There's no DSG bias on this one, right? Because it's 2 players. So I think the more impressive play will obviously win that one out. Again, random seeding, I promise you. But at the end of the day, it is just how it worked out. The Toby play was cool. But the submissions from that week, I think, were also a little bit less impressive. So it won for being a fun play and also being a DSG play. But this time around, I think Young definitely deserves the win. So advances in this play of the split bracket. Let's go.
And if we're going to be keeping the train along of brackets, well, let's get in touch with our playoffs bracket. Honestly, coming back from vacation and seeing how this shook up is not something I ever could have imagined in a million years, and I am so excited for it. I did not think that there was going to be a world where, Breezy, this lower bracket has been going as it does. I mean, we have a couple of, what should be, some of the top teams, like TLC's fighting for their life now?
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. Just don't look in the bottom left corner of this bracket, but besides that, yeah, it's kind of a lot of upsets over here.
The biggest thing is the FlyQuest TLC cannot be the finals.
Yeah,
they will, if they win, which is still an if, they're going to knock each other out to get into the top 3. That's not the world I expected.
Yeah, that's even if they get there.
Right?
Just incredible. And the fact that Fear and DSG is in that upper bracket finals to be starting things off, I think bodes very well just for LCS Challengers in general and the talent that we have here and how far they can make it. So I'm really excited to see how things are going to go down and who is going to be taking that title overall. But of course, today is elimination day, so maybe we're not going to look at the far left of that lower bracket, but we are going to be looking at the other games to see who we're going to be saying goodbye to and who's going to be advancing on. Starting off with FlyQuest Challengers going up against Wildcard, then TLC going up against EBC. Big matches, some big names here. So let's get to it. FlyQuest Challengers. Angus, you already spoke of the fact that we can't see that TLC and FlyQuest Challengers finals now, and FlyQuest Challengers fighting for their life.
The conversation around FlyQuest Challengers coming into playoffs, at least on the broadcast side, was, okay, are they now, based on current form, up there with TLC? I know they're second seed, but, is there an argument? I don't remember who brought it up in our conversations, that they're like, could we say, is there an argument that FlyQuest are actually the true #1 seed coming in here, the real raid bosses? Well, now they're both in the lower bracket, so FlyQuest Challengers have had a rougher road than we expected, but they are still a very strong team. Returning members across the board, except for, of course, Faisal coming in, the new top laner for this squad in Summer Split. But everybody else still is looking strong, and I have expectations that they should be favorites in this match regardless.
Yeah, and I mean, while we have Breezy here on the desk, Breezy, you went up against these guys, especially this bot lane. We've really sung the praises on the desk when it comes to Winsome and especially Masu. What's your impression really going up against FlyQuest when you got the chance to go toe-to-toe with them this summer?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think FlyQuest bot lane, besides us, I want to say is probably the best bot lane academy. They're one of the few bot lanes that actually tries the lane and they team fight well. A lot of the bot lanes in academy are just really passive and play to farm, but when these guys get a good matchup, they'll abuse it well and they get really strong lane to play through.
Well, now we'll get to see how Wildcard plays up against the bot lane and the rest of FlyQuest Challengers, as of course they are they're trying to be advancing on in this lower bracket. Wildcard, I feel like, has been a team that maybe overlooked sometimes, be disrespected sometimes, but I mean, Breezy, they're still in this.
Yeah, I mean they're a good ball lane as well. I think it could go either way, and both teams are looking strong. I think the ball lane matchup is gonna be really important in this series.
I do think one of the more interesting things for me with Wildcard is what kind of approach they're going to have today. This is a team that has a lot of flexibility, especially on that top side, given the champion pools of both Zamudo and Keel. So I'm really interested to see what kind of approach they take into FlyQuest.
Yeah, and also the meta opening up a little bit more for Soligo. I feel like draft, I mean, it's always been that way, Breezy. I'm sure you get to test this as a player drafting against Wildcard. You never exactly know what they're going to bring to the table, and that does make them a fun team to watch.
Yes, of course. I think both AD carries this game like have super special pocket picks, like Masu with the AP Cog, Lens has his Draven. I think it'll be very spicy.
I'm excited to see how it'll go down, especially too since Wildcard, on the interesting aspect of how things are shaking up with their team, have always been so interesting to watch. And Breezy said, like, yeah, this could be a close one. Kangas, how are we feeling about this team going up against FlyQuest? Because FlyQuest, they definitely have some tenure of some of these players.
Well, I think we can highlight it a little bit through some of the clips that we want to talk about as well. Because when I look at Wildcard, I look at draft being important. I look specifically at Zamudo needing to step up and have big performances. Because sometimes they'll go for plays like this. This is against their series against Maryville University. They go a little early on the play. Sometimes they're not always on the same page of when they want to go in. But if you give agency to the carries, they will pull it off. They will still execute. The question being, will that work against a team as strong as FlyQuest? Like this example, Keel dies. Actually, Keel died in both clips. Donbrace also did this time. They still go for the play. They still have the confidence between Soligo and Zamudo to say, we both have agency, we both have champions that can pull off this play, and we're going to make it happen. And I think that that's going to be priority number one. If I'm drafting, which you should never let me draft for your team, but if I was drafting for Wildcard, my goal number one would be get those solo laners on champions that they can feel comfortable on and they can have a lot of agency with.
And then it'll be interesting to see exactly how that's going to fare against a FlyQuest as we roll a couple of the clips too, because FlyQuest, Covey, has definitely not been a team that we've slept on at any point, but finding themselves in this lower bracket now.
Yeah, and I think they dropped a very close best of 3 against Disguise. That was the best series that we've had so far in playoffs. And
the only 3-game series.
Yeah, I really feel like this team still lives and dies by Masu. It feels like their bread and butter strategy is what can we do to protect Masu in the bot lane. And Breezy, I'm not sure if you have a similar read, but for me, it really feels like when FlyQuest is at their best, it's when they are able to protect Masu as a team. As we're going to see a fight, we're here against Disguise. They dropped this game because they were not able to protect Masu, but then when they do have success, it really feels like it is because they are able to peel for him.
Yeah, Masu in teamfights is really shining, so like if they can shut down Masu in the teamfights, then they're going to do really well. And I also think Yuji is a very strong carry for them. If they can get like Kindred or something like that, like they might try to focus Masu, but I think they've got some other carries over there on FlyQuest too, so they're a pretty strong team.
Yeah, to bring it to you, I think Kindred's like perma-banned against this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a team, I'm kind of curious, Breezy, because you mentioned the strong solo laners. I feel like we have seen some flexibility from them running the 1-3-1 strats as well. Like we've seen the Sejuani, Yone, and Jax topside. Like, what is it like as a bot lane when you have that flexibility across the map when you kind of try and build comps and build strats?
Yeah, it's definitely very hard to draft against, and I think like their mid jungle is like very strong and they play around them well. So playing bot lane against a strong mid jungle is also very hard because like you're always saying, oh, their bot lane can move, oh, their mid lane can move bot, like stuff like that. It's hard to play the game, but if their mid lane jungle get ahead, it really helps bot lane. They can shine there as well.
Yeah, I want to go back to something that Kinga said a little bit ago, which was to not let Kinga draft at any point.
Oh.
You got a little bit wonky with that. Because I would love to actually play a little bit game. I know Cubby has something prepared about a couple of the champion pools that we get to see, so we can see then kind of put to the test not only Kangus's draft and champion knowledge, but all of ours.
Well, here when it comes to, identifying talent, a lot of the times, we talk about the eye test. Like if you just watch a player, does it look like they're doing things differently? Well, I've developed a different sort of eye test for the chat here as... guys, I'm gonna need some help here. All right, so Zamudo, champion pool. Now, what this is gonna be? The champions, the size represents how much they've played them, and it's gonna be 1 or 2. There's gonna be an error in here. You're gonna have to identify because the eye test going up against Wildcard, it's rather difficult to draft against a team that has champ pools that are this big. So 1 or 2.
Okay,
One.
so 1 is left, 2 is right.
Or 2.
So
yeah,
the-
we go left to right here.
The bigger the icon, the more they've played it.
Yes.
All right, I know which one I'm going for. Doctor, I'm ready. Breezy, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
You ready, Sierra? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I'm
we
gonna
got,
say
team?
3, 2, 1. We all say it.
Great.
3, 2, 1.
1.
1.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all 1. Guys, that would be correct. The
Let's
only
go.
error would be that Scion is actually not played. Everything else is something that is in the Zamudo's pool, and also FlyQuest will have to be wary of today. Upcoming next, top laner. Got some interesting takes of his own, but then we also have the jungler of Wildcard 2, as Keel has quite the pool himself this split. Even some champs missing from here that I just decided not to throw on. But guys, this has been Keel's pool for the majority of the split. Once again, 1 or 2?
I got mine.
Okay.
Breezy?
I think I'm ready.
This one's harder, but I still got it. Sierra?
As ready as I'm gonna be, I guess.
3, 2, 1. 1.
2.
Oh!
Oh
We are a
no.
little bit split, guys.
Uh-oh.
I fear that, the eye test might have been a little bit too strong here for a couple of our members, as the Udyr was only played in
That's
spring.
the one that gave it away.
Yeah, it was only played in spring. And now, guys, I'm gonna have a real test for you. Upcoming next week, we have a random champion pool. This is actually the most difficult eye test that we have. The most difficult eye test that we have available to us in all of Challengers League. So bonus points if you can guess the player for this one, but 1 or 2.
Well, it's got to be a mid laner, surely.
Right?
Yeah.
I know
Also,
who this one is for
that
sure.
X is a hint. It's a big hint.
Yeah, that one gives it away.
It does give it away.
Is somebody in this series?
No.
Shoji.
Indeed. Now 1 or 2. There are still multiple.
Oh.
There are multiple errors in here. Multiple errors. Still 1 or 2.
I don't know. I do 1.
1?
There's too much going on. I'm so confused.
Oh,
It's tough to draft against these teams, I know.
I'm gonna say 2.
2?
Yeah.
It is indeed 2 that had more errors. No Oriana or Trinity have been played for Shoshi despite being
That's
big
exactly
champs
what I
in
was
spring.
thinking.
Yeah.
Don't remember seeing his Oriana.
So, if Fear might be a team that either of these teams have to look out for if they want to continue in this part of our tournament. As Fear, of course, they have their own best of 5 to play tomorrow, but got to return to the games we have today, of course. But it is difficult going up and prepping against these teams that have such big champion pools that are very diverse in that top side as well. As the ability for Akshan, like from Zamudo, or Keel playing supports or carries, there's a lot of flexibility on the top side. Definitely something that FlyQuest is going to have to be wary of today.
Yeah, well, we're talking about and we're bringing it back to this series and a couple of the wacky things that Wildcard bring on. One of the not so wacky things is this little rivalry going on. So there's this Yuji and Keel smack talk. So let's get a little look at what this is.
your quick thoughts on Yuji?
I don't really think anything of him, and he has an LCS support, so we're gonna win.
I think he's not that good, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Can't believe it.
Did I
Doesn't
see
think
that
anything of him.
before?
He did say after the interview ended, they're going to 2-0 Team Liquid. So, or rather, no, FlyQuest. He said they were also looking forward, though. They think that they're going to have to beat both of them on their way to the finals. So he's confident that they're going to run the gauntlet.
Hey, Breezy, how are you feeling about these strong words, this little rivalry that's brewing out here?
I think it's typical jungle ego, like every jungler always thinks they're the best jungler. Like, oh, that guy just had winning lanes. Oh, we saw that guy on Vision, It's just classic jungle things. I think they're both good.
The classic jungle ego. Well, we'll get to have an opportunity to see which ego is going to be coming out on top, at least in our first game here, as of course we are ready. I'm going to disappear for the draft, but Breezy is going to join Kangas and Covey for it. So have fun, guys. I'll see you two later. You three later.
Thank you, Sierra. I know we still have a guest joining us for draft. I'm excited, Cubby. I know you're excited because that means we just get to ask him questions at this point. I mean, like, our job's so much easier.
We got Cubby 2.0, man. My job's done. Breezy said it himself earlier. Breezy, I know that we did tease out likely to see a Kindred ban here. Really, with the meta on 13-14, we've seen these big picks like the Kai'Sa Rel Flexes, Maokai Jace being denied. Are there any champs like you're 100% like, all right, these are just going to be taken off the table, not going to be played?
For me right now, I think it's Kindred, Rel, and I want to say Rumble as well. I think Rumble is going to be pretty high prio, especially for Zamudo. I'm not sure if Faisal plays it too much, but they definitely knows. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I think Rumble is just going to be a high prio champ.
Funnily enough, though, I mean, Wildcard, talking with them in the past, Keel even said, I love playing with the Zamudo's Akshan, and he loves playing it into the Rumble pick, so oftentimes they will be willing to leave it up. It's showing the FlyQuest are the ones that don't want to leave it up this time around.
I will say that the Maokai ban, that is a champ that's been undefeated so far in our playoffs. Definitely something that usually Keel likes to go for other things, just not a champ that, Wildcard have played a lot of. And it will be that first pick, Rel. Is this flexible for Wildcard? We expect it to be in the hands of Donbray, but that does leave up the Kaisa Breezy, which has been very dominant in the meta.
Yeah, I definitely expect just like Kaisa or Zyra here. Pretty standard, I think, for both teams. Yeah, there's a Kaisa, Masu Kaisa.
If you're support, which one would you rather have once you see the Rel? Because in my mind, it's Zyra Khan, but they're going for the Kaisa instead.
Yeah, I mean, Zyra Khan is pretty strong too, but on red side, you can like drop support, and you don't really have to worry too much about the Rel Flex, so it's a lot easier to draft on red side against the Rel Flex 1P.
I will say as well, the Poppy feels really good going into Rel.
Poppy is strong.
Yeah, it can really protect the backline. And that Viego pick, it's not the easiest matchup to play into Poppy, as Poppy can take you down early game. But of course, this really makes the wildcard comp looking for those first resets and looking for really upfront damage in team fights is what I am expecting. So other thing to look out for here, Breezy, we actually have had Tristana make it all the way to this point.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Tristana across the road has been dropping Prio for some reason. I'm not really too sure why, but might just because the AP junglers are banned right now. Maokai Sejuani, it's a little bit less prio, but I still think Champ's very strong. I think it could be a good pick for FlyQuest here if they want it.
Yeah, not opted for Wildcard. I was thinking they could go for that themselves, but maybe not exactly what Celigo would be wanting to play. Like I said, I want to give them champions with agency. They can do things on their own in isolation and then group up with the team. I think Viego is perfect for Keel in that regard. And FlyQuest are going to go for the Blind Azir.
This is a big pick for Spyrax, best champion that he's played in his career, and I really like the pairing with Poppy too, as Poppy gives Azir really some early game power in terms of pressuring enemy mid laners. Poppy can go to that lane, get pressure for mid, and then set Azir up for the later stages. I really like the synergy that these two champs have, and early on, Breezy, FlyQuest very much showing a defensive front-to-back comp already.
Yeah, I really like their comp, honestly, especially in playoffs, like play slow games, scaling front to back, and they've got a very strong mid-jungle pairing, and they're going to be happy with the spot matchup as well. I like their draft so far.
Also, a Xerath ban. We've yet to see Xerath be played, but did see some major buffs on 13-14, a historical counter into Azir, so taking that off the board, maybe it's getting played a little bit more in scrims. I've heard very good things about Xerath.
Yeah.
I think they've done this legal scouting report. I know he's been playing it a lot in solo queue, so they must have got some good scouts over there. Yeah.
Well, also the Ahri ban, so arguably 3 bans against Celigo here. He's going to have to go deeper into the champ pool to counter the Azir if he wants a pure counter. If we're looking at the FlyQuest kind of identity of the roster, what do we think about Wildcard's first 3 picks? What's their style right now? What are they hoping for to round out the draft?
They need to pick some strong skirmish champs here. I expect FlyQuest to just pick Alistar here on the 4. It looks really strong for them, and then give top counter pick. So I think they need to have pick a Renekton and maybe Mage mid and just try to play for Rift Herald and snowball early.
I like the Alistar call out. Breezy, your Alistar is one of the best we have in the league too. But it is
not as strong too.
Yeah, Winsome has mostly been going towards the Leona. Actually, hasn't had Alistar played yet. Renata, I really like that into Viego. A lot of defense there. This is a pick that you were very proficient at as well, Breezy, especially when the champ first came out. So what do you feel like this game sets up for Winsome?
FlyQuest is just playing straight for team fights. They're just saying get through the early game, get through the first 15 minutes, and they'll win front to back 5v5 pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about that earlier too, setting up expectations. This is often how they like to play, specifically protect the Masu comps. But look at what Wildcard. Breeze, you essentially predicted it. Mage in the mid lane, and then the Gangplank top instead of a Renekton. Now we have a counter from FlyQuest Challengers, and Faisal will lock in the Sante.
Yeah, ambitious GP blind. I think he's been kind of testing the water to see if anyone can counterpick him, but he's been pretty successful in it so far.
And this is a comp that I would very much expect from FlyQuest Identity. It feels like Faisal and Spyrax are on 2 of the strongest solo laners. It is 2 of their most played. Ability for Masu to execute fights with the Poppy later. Breezy, what are you expecting to see this game? It seems like Wildcard has to try and make some plays, but I will say the Syndra GP gave them a lot of scaling in the back half of the draft.
Yeah, I think Wildcard has to make some early plays, try to get some early Drakes. The Rift Herald fight is pretty strong as well, so I think they have to try to get some advantages early. They'll have some playmaking opportunity ball lane and even mid lane, so I think it's just going to come down to early game, and if FlyQuest can get through early game pretty well, I think they're in a good spot.
All right, I'm taking my notes. Hopefully everybody in Twitch chat is as well. Breezy says, watch for the Herald, a priority for Wildcard. For FlyQuest, we're expecting more of a team fight focus. Elimination is on the line. Thank you, Breezy, for coming on and doing draft with us. We're going to be bidding farewell to Breezy while we hop into game, and Cubby and I will get us into the action because Wildcard, FlyQuest, Challengers hitting the Rift. Cubby, one of these teams we will be saying goodbye to today, and the other will advance further into the lower bracket.
And look at this, we even got a team cam for FlyQuest Challengers playing out of their brand new office as FlyQuest Challengers. I talked to Rocco last night, said it was a pretty seamless move. But before we dive into the game, Kangas, I believe that we have some words from Saligo.
Over the past few weeks, we've just been working to kind of like refocus on just what makes us good as a team, and like while obviously maintaining all of the new things that we've gotten better at.
Focusing on what they are strong at, also trying to fit in a few things that they can improve on, but when it comes playoff time, I'm always of the opinion, I'd love to talk with Breezy about this more after, you know, once you're in playoffs, you need to do the thing you know you can do. At that point, learning is often in kind of a background thought.
Yeah, and I know that from talking with Keel before the match, he said, you know, going into this, we have actually slightly narrowed up our identity. Diving into playoffs, as I think Zamudo's pool, you know, we still see the Akshan in a matchup where he feels like it's very good into the Rumble, but this GP has been really big for him as a blind. Zamudo, this is a champion that back when he was actually playing an amateur, talking with some of the OQ casters, they said it was permaban from him there. So I feel like Zamudo, we've already seen a big GP game from him in playoffs, and hope we get to see another one here.
Don't forget to spam in chat who you're rooting for. Do you believe in Zamudo's Gangplank? As many others have felt the wrath of before. Right now, Wildcard is winning out on that, so it seems like the fan vote is behind them. FlyQuest faith is wavering right now, but they do have priority in the bottom. It looks like Masu and Winsome are positioning aggressively, trying to get that level 2.
Yeah, the nice part about taking the Renata instead of something like the Alistar here is that it does give you a lot more power in the lane, and this is something I feel like FlyQuest as a team does pretty well with main priority, as each of our junglers will be working towards the bot side. Keel doing a reverse clear starting on the Raptors. I actually like this a lot. It's been an adaptation we've been seeing, because if Keel's able to take that bot crab, his Raptors respawn when he is on that side of the map, so he doesn't have to seed them away to actually defend it, whereas UG did start the AoE camps. So I think he's going to look for an early reset so we can cycle out those camps and maybe play for that early dragon at the 5:30 timer.
That's one option. Another is that Saligo just got flashed at a Spyrax solo in the mid lane. Spyrax is also heavily chunked, so there's also a world where they try and make something happen in that lane, but looks like right now it is still hovering around where that Scuttle Crab will spawn. And we'll spot out UG as well, so knows that UG's on this side of the map.
You could see that Keel was actually seeing if he could sneak in there, but the wave a little bit too far back in favor of Spyrax towards his turrets, so you're going to wait for that one to bounce, and could easily see a skirmish there. That would be really good for the side of Wildcard if they were able to find that one, as Diego, once you see that champion skirmishes get very strong, why Breezy is really talking about, like, hey, like, can we find any 2v2, any skirmishers playing around the Diego and trying to get those early resets. So Saligo will step up, stop the base, get that wave in, and now this wave will be bouncing, and that's where Spyrax has to be a little bit wary of jungle intention going his way.
Doing fine catching the wave as much as he can under turret. Right now, Faisal is actually getting a small lead for himself in the top lane, pushing in, pressuring Zamudo, as Keel's yet to answer up there. But now we have a engaged bot lane. Masu in a bit of trouble. Ignite flashes away with cleanse.
Oh, look at mid.
We'll have to back.
UG,
though,
he's
on
here.
A roam here. Looking for the gank onto Saligo. Does have his flash and also has the benefit of Keel being nearby, so UG's actually got to be careful. We'll see that Viego's there, and they call off the play.
Now, Keel has the option of trying to contest this Raptor respawn or going to his own. If he goes to his own, he will be basing after this, so not choosing to overextend. Faisal technically, I guess, could walk down. Just doesn't feel like the need to take that risk. I agree with Keel. But after this will be the reset for him in the jungle, where Poppy going to go for that super clear. Likely a Bomby's Rush, which makes the next clear for Poppy very strong. So UG, I think, has had a really nice start to the game.
Keel's still here in mid, though. They know that Spyrax still doesn't have the flash, and a setup for Saligo, but Spyrax is out of there! Actually survives it. Very slim margins. Well done, Spyrax.
Oh my goodness, that was so close coming out from Spyrax, and really significant that he is able to sneak out of that one. Heal did burn his flash to try and cash into the play, but he was spotted mid. This means that Yuji, he has yet to go for that reset. So he's actually snuck into this top side. Q3 goes
for the
wide.
setup. They still will go for some damage, but yeah, they didn't get him close enough to the wall. If Faisal lands that Q3, that's huge.
I think that's a kill if he does. So a little bit of a miss there from two of our solo lane ganks. This pressure, it goes to the wayside, and referencing what Breezy said earlier in this draft, Kangas, if things are neutral early, that does favor FlyQuest moving forward.
So far, it's been no big advantage to either side. Coming up on 6 minutes in the game, Dragons on the Rift, and we do have FlyQuest still getting Prio in the bot lane. Despite Masu losing both summoner spells, we have seen them getting more pressure in, shoving that wave as much as they can. And with UG's jungle pathing, I'm wondering if they go for an early dragon. They're talking about Wildcard prioritizing the Herald, so usually when a team will go for that, then the other side will answer with the dragon stacking of their own.
Yeah, but the way you can get around that, of course, is if you are able to sneak one early before that Herald spawns. And when I saw Yuji set up his path, heal was going to match. That will make it harder to sneak it, but Yuji would be rather strong at this fight. And the bot lane priority does go in favor of FlyQuest. Spyrax has been able to get that wave a little bit further in mid, so you can see FlyQuest sniffing around thinking. Honestly, Yuji's just trying to spot out Keel, but Keel has snuck into this pocket. Yuji will be spotted. This could be good for Wildcard if they turn on Yuji.
Yeah, FlyQuest realized that Wildcard are playing too far forward for this to be a bluff, but now we got a skirmish. The junglers are smacking each other. Donbray had no backup, and Lens was pushed away from the poke of, or rather, Q of Masu there. So FlyQuest actually went out slightly. I don't think anyone's going to commit to a play afterwards, though. Mid priority has gone back to Wildcard.
Sligo did walk down to see if he could support any play, but not going to be the case. And Kangas looks like what you called earlier. It's going to be a fight over the Rift Herald. When you do have like this Gangplank, I know that Wildcard, Breeze said Brazil fight could be strong. I think a lot of that does rely on the bot lane rotating up from Wildcard. So because that Renata has spot lane priority, I do think the 3v3 will be rather difficult for Wildcard, given, you know, GP doesn't really want to fight right now. He wants to get at least one item under his belt before he tries to take off and find anything. So I would love to actually see FlyQuest push for this, because as long as they have bot lane priority, I do think that the Rift Herald, that fight, the 3v3 topside, should be in their favor.
It's about to spawn, so we're about to find out if the teams do prioritize it. Spyrax, meanwhile, was looking to maybe set up a play for UG there in the mid wave. We'll just get the wave shoved in and go for a reset himself now. Looks like everybody's shopping up because they know that the magnet to the Herald could be that next big play. You want to have as many stats as possible. FlyQuest bot lane also reset, and they're just going to run right there. At least Winsome and Masu are pathing mid lane out of base. So it seems like they have the same read.
FlyQuest is a team that loves to rotate their bot lane up to Herald. I think that this is one way to use that bot lane priority. You know, you could keep them in lane, but also just use it to get first say. So you can see Wildcard, they're way behind in this play, and this has to be a sack. So really well done by FlyQuest here, showing the power of, you know, having priority across the map here, Kangas. As the push bot, it's FlyQuest the objective on the top side, uncontested.
They're still hovering around mid. Masu not yet running straight bot, because maybe if Siligo shows up, Spyrax can hit a shuffle, they can just kill Siligo. But now we'll start running bot side, waiting for the support to link up. Wildcard will get a plate for that, so a little bit of gold on the Lens, but that's just not an equivalent trade when the Herald should get the much more. UG's also counter jungling on the top side, so I would expect a Herald drop up here. Maybe try and get Faisal a little more online, because he's been doing a great job of actually shoving this wave in. Maybe you even dive Zamudo.
Oh, you 100% dive this. That's a big wave. Faisal has the all-out. Zamudo's down a level. Here we go.
All right, Zamudo, you got one orange. How are you going to use it? Nice so far. Flashes away, still stunned up. They've tanked the turret well, but it will be traded. First blood to Faisal. Zamudo will get one for it.
Well, that is the difficulty of diving a Gangplank. As Zamudo arrows ults the wave, that wave dies. It will be a 1-for-1 trade. Well played by Zamudo to make sure that was an even trade in his favor. As that... Everyone's showing top for FlyQuest. Make sure that this dragon can be taken uncontested.
Let's get another look at that. So it is, like you said, hard to gank, or dive rather, the Gangplank. He can clear the wave, and that orange is used. He gets the flash off immediately after 2, and that's pretty big.
I think what should have happened here from FlyQuest is FlySol needs to use a W or an E to try and deny that first barrel. If he denies the first barrel, that wave is so much healthier, the ult cannot cut through it. And of course, the wave can do damage to help you with that dive as well. So I think well played from Zamudo to make sure that wave died. And FlyQuest end up burning the flash off UG. Not a big deal. 1-for-1 trade. Gangplank, though, you can see he's gotten quite a bit of gold from the first strike and Gangplank's passive. So we might be down in CS, but he is up at first item in the Essence Reaver. And we have seen what Zamudo's Gangplank can do at later stages of the game. And it's going to be a pick that is going to be rather dangerous for FlyQuest to play against. Gangplank feels really good this game. You're really only looking out for the displacement from Cassante and Azir, and also an execute coming out from the Kai'Sa. Besides that, it's really tough as Poppy to actually get up into Gangplank, given all the slows that you have in your kit. And Azir, every time he autos, he's going to be still, and barrels are going to do a lot of damage to him. So for me, a lot of eyes going to be on Zamudo to see what he can do in these later stages of the fights, because him and SLYC are going to be the ones buying a lot of space for Wildcard.
And I gotta say, Gangplank, the scariest Gangplank is the Brush Gangplank, the one you can't see that's got the barrels chained up, and Zamudo is a master at just playing to the bushes, playing to where the opponent doesn't have vision. That's one of the first things we noticed about him at the beginning of the summer split, back when he was even playing the Gragas, just the confidence to walk in knowing, hey, they wouldn't have warded here, I can just kind of sit and wait for the flank angle, wait for them to walk up, and Gangplank's a terrifying champion to be piloting when the enemy team now has to process that information and think, okay, where's he going to be? So maybe shut him down early is still the name of the game for FlyQuest. UG's coming for a second gank into the top lane.
No flash this time on Zamudo.
No ultimate. Faisal hit this, pulls him back, steadfast presence, all out. Zamudo is dead. Faisal gets the second kill of the game.
Now that was a clean one, as Faisal manages to connect the Q3. Zamudo does have that empowered TP to get back, but it will not be before he's dropping at least 2 plates to Faisal's Cassante. It's a change of pace from FlyQuest, Kangas. We usually see this team really focus on bot lane and attacking that lane, going top, helping this Cassante, who does have some built-in gank assist in his kit. It's been really good, as that Gangplank getting knocked around to the top side and setting him behind is going to be really important for the success of FlyQuest later.
You did mention FlyQuest are showing more flexibility, more willingness to play the solo lanes, and when we think about Faisal, what he made a reputation on in Spring Split with Cincinnati Fear was pulling games that seemed lost back into a victory because of the Cassante pick. He was one of the best Cassantes we had in the league. He hasn't played it as much this summer split, but I mean, if you're going to play to any Cassante lane, you're playing to Faisal's lane. This guy's kind of crazy on this champion.
Has been someone that I feel like has really scaled into the split with the rest of FlyQuest Challengers. And that's a nice little lead for FlyQuest. And again, going back to what Breezy said when he was joining us in draft, if things are closer even early, FlyQuest comp, they have the advantage later. And yeah, when you look at Azir, Kai'Sa, and the front line that they have as well, it's going to be really tough for Viego to get a reset going up against this front line plus a Renata behind. So I really think that setting behind Zamudo, someone that can break these fights for FlyQuest, it's a good job of them identifying what they need to do in this game. And for the rest of the map, it's not like Kill has been able to find a ton more, while UG has put time and investment in the top side. So overall, wins for FlyQuest.
UG has flash available, but the wave is cleared by SLYC. Okay. Maybe the play was going to happen there. I want to go back to what you just said. We're talking about how tough it will be for Wildcard. Talking about the positives. You know, if we're thinking about this team, what their realistic chances are to make a big play, where else should we be putting our attention? Is it still going to be on Zamudo, despite the fact that he finds himself behind?
Zamudo's one that's going to be, you know, a lot of damage, but honestly, I got to look at Soligo in the mid lane. Soligo was really big, especially in that comeback win against MU, which, talking with Keel beforehand, he was really proud of his team's resiliency in that game 2 against Maryville in the lower bracket last week. Soligo is really big in that series. Syndra is a champ that he's comfortable on. He has the ability to buy a lot of space for Wildcard and slow down these fights, which I think will really benefit Wildcard with the Gangplank and But right now, FlyQuest looking to speed things up.
UG wants this, doesn't want it bad enough. Keel, once he shows with the miss, they decide, no, we're not going to hard commit to it. Wait, I've seen a lot of like little moments where you can tell there's like an initial call and then an immediate backtrack on the call. usually around where the junglers are spotted. But FlyQuest, regardless, have more members here on the Dragon. There's still members of Wildcard showing mid, so the Dragon stacking is denied from Wildcard. We got 1-1 in the Dragon count. Oh, Saligo, wow. Nice scatter the weak there to deny Spyrax's engage. That could have been a rough spot, even though Spyrax doesn't have backup. They're just 1v1ing right now. Okay, Spyrax is not done. Probably should have been, because Keel is closer and says, all right, I'll take a free kill.
I love the snap and engage from Keel. Once he sees Spyrax use the Q, Flash RW knows that he cannot get out. Spyrax burned, Flash still goes down, so that's a nice trade out from Wildcard as Gold gets onto Keel. He's a big key in this. If he gets a first kill, if you have a Viego team who gets a reset, we have seen that break a lot of compositions. So for Wildcard, well played by Saligo. Said that he is someone that could step up, make some plays, as it is a skirmish found. Won't be for free. FlySol responds with the top outer turret falling.
Yeah, I still just kind of racking my brain as to what Spyrax's thought process was there. Maybe a little bit of just impatience. Like, this game's going too slow. We're at 16 minutes. There's only 3 kills now. Let's make something happen. Let's get another look at what exactly happened here.
Saligo has flash up too, so ends up.
Spyrax doesn't even have Ludens. Saligo does.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kangas. I don't like that. Well played by Keel.
Yep.
As again, once he sees that other Q, the E was already burned. Spyrax did have access to the flash, but finding this though, that ends the fight. As we actually have UG. I'm going to highlight rushing the Anathema's Chains. This is a build that we have seen rising in priority in Challengers. Shout out to Perry, first one who was really doing it. Actually, he was skipping the Bomby Cinder even on his way to this item. Whoever you put the chains on, there is, increased CC duration. And when you are playing these comps where getting onto someone like a Syndra can be really valuable, the chains can really make a big difference in some of these fights later. So I think this is an item that's very powerful, and curious to see who it's on. It's on Lens. It's on Lens. I see it. I got it this time. I'm not getting bullied this time around, Kangas. On the Lens.
Spotted. Hey, it's right there. Yeah, look at that. Thank you, observers, for highlighting that for us.
So
Lens
in playoffs. We caught it this time.
I think similar to the Syndra, low mobility carry. If you can get on top of that Aphelios and lock them down, that's big. And also, you're preventing a lot of the damage from coming through that Kraken Slayer early. I thought it would be Saligo because of the AP singular threat. Now, okay, well, I guess, yeah, Lens realized very quickly that that was on him. I guess he just dies.
Scoop and score from Spyrax and FlyQuest. It's going to be mid-outer falling to the Rift Herald.
Wow, what a play from FlyQuest there. Just catching out the enemy AD carry with both sums up and then taking a mid-turret. Those are the kind of plays that can get you right back into this game, because it was looking a little rough after that solo kill, or rather 2v1 kill that Keel picked up. Now with 2 turrets to their name. Still gold very even. It's not like a big lead for FlyQuest, but hey, they're going to crack a third. Faisal putting in work here. He just takes top turret and bot turret. Okay, now we can get another look at what happened to Lens.
Everyone's fogged right now for FlyQuest. They don't see anyone showing on the top side, so given that, I know that we saw Faisal bot, but no Spyrax top. Ends up making the play mid. That's a wave that Lens should have dropped. He did not. He ends up falling himself, and honestly, that's something that, I caught up with Faisal on the FlyQuest side before this match. He said, hey, one of the reasons that we're in the lower bracket is that we weren't setting up things properly. We were not retaking River properly individually. That's something we're going to be looking out for, as we do have a Dragon spawning at $120. But also said, hey, we're trying to, be smarter about how we play. Communicate a little bit better as a team. And, hey, that's a play that they set up properly. And also a nice recovery from Spyrax, who did make that individual mistake in the bot side, dying to Saligo, and now able to bounce back mid. That's what FlyQuest needs. They want to come out on top of this game, and 1 minute out for the third Dragon. They're up a little bit of gold. Like how their comp scales, FlyQuest feels like they're in really good shape.
And right now, Wildcard are sending Saligo to the top lane. Does have teleports, so they could look to answer on the Dragon, but traditionally, I'd expect the Gangplank to be up there instead, as you can throw down the ult and TP to help affect the fight. But FlyQuest are setting up the vision early. Dragon spawns in 40 seconds, and they already have enemy jungle littered with wards. And Wildcard's not even on the side of the map where they can look to clear those out. Although, they are on Baron side. What about a world where Wildcard actually played a Baron? I mean, it's going to be spawning at the exact same time.
Looks like Wildcard, they're scared of going in the bot river. Oh, Yuji.
Ooh. Wow, Lens is very lucky that didn't land. And Dombre just throws out the Magnet Swarm into nothing, does not land, and throws out the EMA. There we go! That's the frustration. I thought it was there.
You know what, Dombre, as a golfer, I can understand. Some trees are bigger than what you think. Wasn't able to get through that one.
And now FlyQuest are back onto the Dragon. So there was a window there that I thought maybe Wildcard would actually go for the Dragon. Once you lose Flash on Lens, maybe that's no longer the play anymore. But either way, FlyQuest will pick up their second Dragon of the game. They did their homework. They checked the boxes. And they will earn themselves this objective.
This pick coming out from FlyQuest. They did get at least Flash off of Lens too. That's why he wasn't knocked into the wall. So even if that Flash, you know, isn't the full length of duration, just getting out of that Poppy, very key. But FlyQuest, I mean, all props to them. It really feels like Yuji on this Poppy. Keel's getting his farm. It's not like Keel's, you know, played bad or fallen behind, but it's just Yuji's been able to make a few more things happen in this game one, Kangas.
And we even heard them talk about each other. It was actually Yuji that clapped first in one of the interviews asking about Keel. This is after the regular season game, saying that, yeah, I don't think Keel's like that special. Funnily enough, Keel got MVP number 3 vote, and we definitely look very highly on Keel. Yuji not impressed.
Yuji,
no bias,
hold on. I mean, we were only making a video for the top 3, but fun fact, Yuji was actually number 4.
True.
Listing too, so
he was
yeah,
right there. Would have made top 5 this year, or this split rather. Only did the top 3, but still, Yuji is a jungler that has never missed out on top 5 MVP voting. Has yet to win, but we're always impressed with his play. No surprise, he is finding himself and the team in a comfortable position. Even though Keel individually is up in gold, and they even highlighted that earlier. Despite the fact that FlyQuest have all these turrets, the gold's even. You know, it's 3 turrets to 0. There's more standing gold on the map for Wildcard to pick up, and they're still in a comfortable spot.
I mean, GP passive goes hard, you know?
It does.
And speaking of that, Zamudo, he looks to be working towards that LDR. Once he hits that item, right, or could be Collector first and then LDR. We'll honestly see. Or
no,
given
not against Poppy Cassante, surely.
I would like to think so as well. But
oh, speaking of, he's just getting engaged on Masu, set up by Faisal, will find the kill.
That's the power of the Kai'Sa in this mid lane priority that FlyQuest has. I really love that move. Kai'Sa uniquely can go impact side lanes with the killer instincts, and Masu able to use that aggressively, takes Zamudo down, even gets the flash out of him as well as FlyQuest. The crab has been taken right now, but there is a blast cone behind them. Yuji will show himself, but there is an opportunity for them to Hex Flash into the pit to hide this, but they're not going to hide it at all.
Force it.
They're going to TP right in Wildcard's face. It's going to be Baron started for FlyQuest.
13 seconds for Zamudo to teleport in or throw down that ultimate. Should not be up by the time Baron goes down. Faisal's just trying to buy time, buy space for everyone from FlyQuest to keep hitting that Baron. They will secure it, and Wildcard find nothing for the play. The FlyQuest, they make the play on Zamudo, get the kill, and they pick up the Turo Baron buff.
Props to FlyQuest this game, man. Again, talking with them, I said, hey, part of the reason we're in this lower bracket, we messed up some river control. We got to work on that, how we enter and how we set up those objectives. That play bot into the Baron, that was a beautiful series of events coming out from FlyQuest. They're making this game really difficult for Wildcard to play. And the one thing I will say about this draft from Wildcard, you know, Breezy, he saw the Viego, he's like, hey, we need some skirmishing. It's kind of hard to play as Viego into the Syndra and Gangplank.
Maybe I'm going to let you finish. There's action happening right now. Yeah, FlyQuest, they're just invading. They're just hard forcing the issue right now, saying, Zamudo, you will not get to play this game. Spyrex, again with a sliver of a health bar, will survive. And FlyQuest trade 0 for 1, catching Zamudo again with the hard engage.
Flash down, that's the flash that you go attack, as Spyrax finds another good score kill.
Yeah. They own this jungle. Like, Wildcard cannot walk up. They have to just catch these waves, and they're Baron empowered waves, so they don't even have much shot of clearing those out. FlyQuest are almost playing like they just want to end the game right here. This is rare. We don't often see teams play this aggressive with the first Baron. But, I mean, who's to say? They could look for more.
This game from FlyQuest, I mean, talked about the best of 3 they had against Disguise, being a very close series. FlyQuest Wow, they have come out blitzing, and this one's Dombre.
Dombre, not enough. He's going to be taken down, but it does trade back to. They also got Masu, Saligo, and Zamudo just sniping through the front line, saying, we don't care about you. Our abilities go through you, and they will kill the carry.
This comp for Wildcard, it's really difficult for them to retake jungle, but if you overextend into them, you can see some of the power there from the Syndra and the Gangplank. As you called it out, Kangas, two solo laners did some work, and I want to see a replay of this. Look at how fast FlyQuest falls. FlySol's mid, they have a 5v4 in the bot lane. Dombre just goes in and sacks himself.
Yeah.
So that's a good double barrel connecting from Zamudo on top of the scatter of the week from Saligo. And the bot side of FlyQuest and the Poppy, they just melted. And that's going to be enough where FlyQuest, they're still running out of base. This Dragon will be denied. The Dragon's even up. Still FlyQuest favored in this game. But good fight back there from Wildcard.
I didn't notice if Masu had flash up in the moment, but Dombre just barely clipped onto him with the Magnet Storm. Locks Masu into place so that all that comes through. Maybe a window there where FlyQuest could have outplayed, but either way, that's not the world we live in. Faisal did live, still has the Baron buff. We'll try and get a little more done with it. Is about to expire, though. FlyQuest are still in the lead, but it shows signs of life for Wildcard. They are not ready to quit yet.
Gil talked about it. One thing they learned, or at least experienced in their series against Maryville, that 2-0, resiliency. Big comeback win in that game, too, to make sure that Wildcard made it here. Showing a little bit of that towards that bot inhibitor turret as things are still tense. Saligo gonna eat a Luden's W from Kaisa as Kaisa has completed that item. Now Zamudo.
Faisal's going in onto Zamudo. We'll find the solo kill. Faisal stepping up huge in this game number 1. And just deletes the Fed Gangplank. That Gangplank's got 3 items. That is not a weak champion. And Faisal just makes it look easy.
Faisal, man, what a big game from him. We haven't seen many games where Faisal actually gets resources. You called that out earlier, Kangas. If I'm going to have resources any Kasante in the league, it might be Faisal's, and Faisal cashing in on those, using the all-out to dodge out on the barrel combo from Zamudo. Beautiful play. Kasante finds another kill for FlyQuest, and this push continues.
What a player, what a play. Faisal finding it and also pushes in another wave bot lane. Yep. He is fed. I'd love to take a look at the gold graph again, at least one more time to see just how far ahead Faisal is. Actually, if he even is, I guess it's not guaranteed because the Gangplank does still have passive and had the coal stacking earlier, but I got to imagine Faisal is leading that right now. Impressive stuff coming in from FlyQuest Challengers overall. You said their mentality coming in. We even heard a little bit of their mentality coming in. And it is showing on the Rift right now. They are all indexed into this team fight. Even look at the itemization. Something that happened earlier, we haven't had a chance to talk about it. UG's second build, the Anathemas, as the Bombies, didn't finish the Bombies, went for the Abyssal Mask instead because we have AP Kaisa, we have AP Zir. They are just all in on this. Just kill them in the 5v5.
I mean, this 5v5 has been very FlyQuest favored. At least Wildcard have the potential to maybe pick up a death cap here on Saligo to help things out. Zamudo did just finish that 4th item collector, so this Gangplank's strong, but with Baron coming out of the maps soon, FlyQuest have a great setup, and this is where the game gets really difficult for Wildcard. I think Wildcard, you have Gangplank Syndra, it's really easy to defend turrets being taken with Gangplank Syndra, but it's extremely difficult for Wildcard to actually retake their jungle. They don't have anyone good that can face check, as Dombre is squishy. If you face check, you're going to end up blowing ults to get back out of there. If you walk into a Poppy or even Spyrax who can displace you. We've seen what Kasante can do as well in these fights. I think that this map state's really difficult for Wildcard to get back out on the map. And FlyQuest in this fog are so dangerous for Wildcard to go up against.
We do show a few members, but not everybody. Now they will just brute force their way forward. Wildcard now see that there's 4 there, but they have not spotted Faisal yet. I don't believe he's going to be flanking from the bottom here. Maybe Zamudo spotted him. Okay, now they'll see.
Hombre's so low already.
Zamudo cannot interact with this, though. Wildcard's actually clipped. They're kind of forced to just take this mid turret, but can they escape? Now Dombre's just tanking hit after hit. Engaged on, taken down. Actually does flash. He's still alive. FlyQuest did not actually kill the support, and that's a huge ultimate from Lens. Scatter the weak. How are Wildcard winning this fight? They're jumping on to FlyQuest, but they are losing more members. Faisal wins another solo kill in the side. Masu still alive. Spyrax shuffles in Keel, who will go on a killing spree. Jumps right back over. That's 2 members for FlyQuest down, multiple from Wildcard. And now they're getting routed by Faisal. FlyQuest still have more members on the Rift right now. How bad do they want this? How bad does Saligo want this? Ooh, hit by the Void Seeker. Has to run away. Second one misses, but Faisal still stopping their retreat. There's still 2 carries. Keel can buy space for Saligo, who jumps onto Masu, will trade his life, but surely Keel will fall. Faisal and Winsome are on top of him, and they will get the delayed ace.
A little bit sloppy there from each of our teams as it was a split fight. Zamudo tried the TP in while Faisal was right up in his face as a Cassante, so he cancels the TP, but Wildcard, props to them, they stayed strong as that 4-stack really played around the scatter cooldowns from the Syndra well enough to at least buy space, buy time, and now have really desynced respawn timers. FlyQuest, though, they have an angle. Masu is down, but Spyrax is up. Azir has enough DPS to take down this Baron while Keel will be off the map. So FlyQuest is going to use this timer and the desynced respawns to make sure this Baron goes their way.
Yeah, Lens is going to have to pull out a miracle here. He does have a Rel in front of him. Maybe Donbray gets that big engage. Zamudo here as well. They have a lot of damage. Can the damage stay safe and actually land on the FlyQuest? Faisal is playing goalie right now. Donbray in trouble here. Teleport coming in now from Saligo with the Death Cat completed. FlyQuest get the Baron, but can they get out?
Lens.
Big Moonlight Vigil from Lens. And now over the wall, Donbray might jump onto FlyQuest. Doesn't have the cooldowns though. So Baron secured. Turo Baron buff to FlyQuest. They will lose 1 member for it.
They have the empowered recalls, but I don't think they have enough time to actually go contest this dragon. So this should go over to Wildcard as it will be soul point secured for them. Kangas, this was really a slow, methodical, rather controlled game coming out from FlyQuest, but the last couple fights have gone pretty haywire. And I'm not sure if that's FlyQuest just being desynced or credit to Wildcard. I'm really finding advantageous positions from the, for themselves. We're going to take a look again. Yeah, Zamudo, this TP was a bit questionable, as, you know, that's like knocking on the front door when you're trying to rob a house. Faisal is going to easily shut that one down. And Zamudo, he gets one-tapped by the Cassante, but on the flip side, it really was a big fight from Saligo. He found a huge scatter on top of the ult from Zamudo that connected in the fight, and Keel was able to really find isolated kills because of how much space and time Saligo was buying with the scatter. So Keel able to find a couple kills for himself. Then, of course, we saw the chase, which was led to the distinct respawns and led to the map state that we're in now, Kangas, where it's another Baron Siege for FlyQuest Challengers.
In Zamudo's defense, I imagine he's thinking that Faisal's actually going for the flank angle onto the team. Did not expect to be chased down there, but Faisal stuck with it. Wildcard looked all right, but they do lose the overall play. FlyQuest with control of the Rift yet again. You said it. Baron buff shove now is the name of the game. Start the siege. We saw what Wildcard was able to do to defend their base last time around. They're going to have to find a very similar play here.
It is tough to siege against Gangplank and Syndra. Saw Wildcard do so successfully earlier. Defend that, Kangas, as you were highlighting. It will be difficult to do it again, especially as a death cap is now in the pockets of Masu. I should say on his head. I think that's where the cap would go.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah, generally.
Maybe back pocket, you know, you can fold it up if it's too hot out.
That's true.
Oh, okay, Faisal just kills him.
Okay.
Speaking of, I guess the hat, it's not really armor.
Okay.
It's more so to amplify damage, so I'm not sure how that happened, but
that's
either
it.
way, he is dead.
So Syndra is what buys all the space for Wildcard's composition. That's at least going to be 2 inhibitors falling now. We'll see if FlyQuest can get 3.
I think so. I mean, nothing's going to stop them at this point unless Wildcard just commit to one side, but Keel just got chunked out from all the poke. Donbray pulled back in by Faisal yet again. Has to use his cooldowns to get out of there. So FlyQuest take 2 inhibitor turrets, 2 inhibitors, 3rd inhibitor turret, onto the Nexus turrets. Wildcard are just floundering right now. Moonlight Vigil will land on Amos, who chunks out the Kaisa. Might be enough to stop the initial push. Big damage onto Yuji as well. That barrel could just take him down. Hasn't gotten it. Yuji's still alive. And the ultimate from Winsome will defend FlyQuest. Masu jumps in onto Zamudo, who surely will fall. No, he's got an orange to keep him up. FlyQuest have not ended the game yet, but there are 0 structures left for Wildcard. They hold on for how much longer?
Keel went down, the Spyrax off screen. Now we have a TP coming in. Faisal's full health.
Yeah, Masu's coming in. They need to end the game right here, right now. Faisal jumps on them. Do they go for the damage on the carries or onto the Nexus? Masu's looking for the kills, looking for the reset. He gets it with the bailout, keeping him alive. Len's the only member left for Wildcard. Will try and trade, but he's got no backup. He's got no hope. ace for FlyQuest Challengers, and they will end game 1 victorious.
Couple decent attempts on the defense and really fight back from Wildcard, but overall, I think the script of that game for FlyQuest was really sound. And props to Faisal. It was kind of called out in draft. Reezy said, hey, Zumito's been blind picking this gangplank and seeing if anyone can contest it. It was Faisal with the help of Yuji that was really able to pressure that gangplank, gave them some nice strength on the top side to play through. Faisal took that turret with the help of Rift Herald. Then he got a bot outer for free as well. And it felt like Faisal was just taking Zumito out so early, whether that was in skirmishes or even those later fights where he was trying to TP in. Faisal catches him out. Really solid game from Faisal and his Cassante. And that's a pick where Zumito doesn't really play that champion, so maybe looking to deny that moving forward could be big for FlyQuest Challengers as a wildcard. I feel like Faisal has earned that ban through his play, and I would definitely consider removing that from him moving into this series.
Should be a consideration for Wildcard. With the execution in the moments as well as map rotations, taking 2 turrets early in that game. Faisal had a monster performance. Let's see if he can do it again in game 2. We're going to send it to a short break before we're back with our halftime show.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.